Jung studied a man who couldn't get angry, ever. No matter what you did to him, betray him, insult him, destroy his life, nothing. Zero emotional reaction. And when Jung figured out why, it scared him so badly he almost stopped practicing psychology. Because this man had discovered something about anger that once you know it, you can never get angry again. Not won't, can't. The mechanism literally stops working. And before you think that sounds amazing, let me tell you why Jung called it the most dangerous psychological state a human being could achieve. This man's name was Heinrich. His business partner stole everything from him. Half his money gone overnight. His reputation destroyed. 20 years of work stolen. And when Jung asked him, "How do you feel about this man who betrayed you?" Heinrich said something that haunted Jung forever. "Why would I be angry at a mirror?" Let me explain what he meant. Because when you understand this, your entire life is going to change. Every single person who makes you angry is showing you something about yourself. Not metaphorically, literally. That person who drives you absolutely insane, they're you. The part of you that you hate so much, you've hidden it even from yourself. Think about someone who really pisses you off. Got them in mind? Good. What exactly about them makes your blood boil? Are they arrogant? Lazy? Fake? Selfish? Here's the truth that's going to hurt. That thing you hate about them, it's in you. And the reason you hate it so much in them is because you're terrified of seeing it in yourself. Heinrich understood this completely. His partner who betrayed him for money, Heinrich realized he had the exact same greed. He'd just hidden it better, dressed it up as ambition and success. But it was the same hunger, the same fear of not having enough. Once he saw this, really saw it, he couldn't be angry anymore. How can you be angry at someone for showing you your own face? But here's where it gets really interesting and really scary. When Heinrich stopped being able to get angry, other things started happening. Things that made Jung question everything about human psychology. First, Heinrich noticed that time slowed down during confrontations. Someone would insult him, and he could see the words floating through the air toward him. He had all the time in the world to decide, do I let this affect me, or do I just watch it pass by? Most of us don't have that choice. Someone insults us, and boom, we're angry. It's automatic, like touching fire and pulling your hand back. No thought, just reaction. But Heinrich had broken the mechanism. He had a gap, a space between what happened to him and how he responded. And in that gap, he found something most people never discover: actual freedom. Let me tell you about Maria, because her story shows exactly how this works. Maria was a teacher. For 3 years, another teacher made her life hell. This woman would criticize Maria in meetings, steal her ideas, spread rumors about her. Maria would go home shaking with rage, couldn't sleep, started getting panic attacks just thinking about going to work. Then one day, Maria was complaining about this woman to her friend, describing how insecure she was, how she had to tear others down to feel good about herself, how pathetic it was that she couldn't create anything original. And suddenly Maria stopped talking, because she heard herself. She was describing herself. Every single thing she hated about this woman was something Maria did. Maybe in different ways, maybe more subtly, but it was all there. The woman who stole ideas, Maria had built her entire teaching method on stuff she'd learned from others without giving credit. The woman who was insecure, Maria was terrified every day that her students would figure out she didn't know what she was doing. The woman who criticized others, Maria did it constantly in her head. This recognition felt like dying, because Maria realized she hadn't been fighting this woman for 3 years. She'd been fighting herself. But here's the miracle. The next day, when this woman tried her usual tricks, nothing happened. Maria watched her, really watched her, and all she could see was pain. This woman was drowning in the same fears Maria had. She wasn't an enemy. She was a mirror. The anger was gone. Not controlled, not managed, not suppressed. Gone. The factory that produced it had shut down. Now, you might think this sounds great. No more anger, no more being triggered, no more emotional pain from what others do to you. But Jung discovered there's a price. And it's a price most people won't pay. When you can't get angry anymore, when you see that everyone's attacks are really just them fighting with themselves, you start to notice something terrifying. Everyone around you is insane. I mean that literally. They're all fighting enemies that don't exist. Getting offended by things that have nothing to do with them. Destroying their lives over imaginary insults. You watch your friend ruin her marriage because her husband reminds her of her critical father, but she doesn't see it. She thinks she's fighting her husband. She's really fighting her dad. 30 years later, you watch your brother make himself sick with rage at his boss, but you can see clearly that he's actually furious at himself for not having the courage to quit. You watch everyone around you exhaust themselves in battles against their own shadows, and you can't participate anymore. You've left the matrix. You see the code. Heinrich described it like this: I feel like I'm the only sober person at a party where everyone else is drunk. They're all stumbling around, getting into fights over nothing, crying about things that aren't real. And I'm just standing there, completely clear, watching them destroy themselves. The loneliness is crushing, because you can't go back. Once you see that anger is just you fighting with yourself, you can't unsee it. Once you understand that being offended is a choice, you can't pretend it's not. And here's the really disturbing part: people will hate you for it. When you don't get angry, it makes angry people angrier. When you can't be triggered people feel exposed. Your calm in the face of their storm makes them feel crazy because they are being crazy, and your non-reaction proves it. David learned this the hard way. He worked in the most toxic office you can imagine. His boss was a nightmare, screaming at people, humiliating them in meetings, playing mind games. Everyone was miserable. People were having breakdowns, quitting. Some were on antidepressants just to cope. David was dying too. Panic attacks, couldn't sleep, his hair was falling out. Then something snapped. Or maybe something finally made sense. He walked into work one morning and saw it all differently. His boss wasn't a monster. He was a scared little boy in a grown man's body, desperately trying to feel powerful because he felt so powerless. The screaming wasn't strength, it was terror. And once David saw this, he couldn't be hurt by it anymore. His boss would scream at him, and David would just watch, fascinated, like watching a toddler have a tantrum. Interesting, but not personal. His boss noticed immediately. The usual triggers weren't working. He'd insult David, and David would just nod thoughtfully. He'd try to humiliate him, and David would thank him for the feedback. Not sarcastically, genuinely. Because David could see what his boss was really saying: I'm in pain and I need everyone else to hurt too. Within 6 months, David was running the department. Not because he fought back or played politics, but because while everyone else was exhausting themselves with emotional drama, David just did great work. While they were forming alliances and plotting revenge, he was getting results. His old boss ended up working under him. And in their first meeting, this former tyrant broke down crying. How did you do it? He asked. How did you survive me? David's answer was simple. I realized you weren't attacking me. You were attacking yourself.